Hello, and thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate Stocktrac's interaction inspection app, INSPEC. To begin, from main menu, we're going to open up point of sale, and you'll see I have an estimate already started. We'll go into the estimate. You'll see the customer information. You'll notice in the vehicle information I have a VIN, but I don't have a plate. I also don't have an odometer. That's because those will be filled in the tablet. We'll go over here to the Inspection/Service Request tab. And under Service Requests, you'll see that the customer has come in for an oil change. That's the service that they've come in for. Under Additional Notes, I've also put that they're experiencing squeal coming from the front brakes. The reason I point all this out is because these notes can be added to the digital inspection and sent to the technician for viewing. To do that, we'll go over here to the Inspections tab. Down below, under Previous Inspections, this is the inspection history for the vehicle. These inspections can be viewed or printed. That way you can see what technicians may have found in previous inspections. They can also be printed off or emailed to the customer for their records. You can also simply print it with this button here, hand it to the customer if they're there in front of you. But for the current inspection, we're going to hit Add. We're going to select our inspection, and then I'm going to choose the next available tech. You can also assign specific techs by using their employee ID number. You can also add notes as needed, or you can hit the button down below to add the notes from the service request. So that shows you the job that they came in for, and also the note from the customer themselves. Once this is all filled in, we'll simply hit OK. And you'll see over here now the inspection that's been assigned, and the status right now is not started. We will go ahead and save the estimate, and then we will go to our tablet. Now you notice right now it doesn't show any inspections. The tablet does automatically update periodically, but we can also manually refresh it by hitting this button here in the upper right hand corner. And now you'll see that there's one pending. So we'll go ahead and we'll select Next Available Tech. We'll choose the vehicle to be inspected, the inspection that's being done, and now we'll choose the technician that's doing the inspection. This would be, I guess, considered the home page for the inspection. It gives you an overview of the points within the inspection, shows you the number of details that need to be completed in each. The customer notes will show you the notes that were sent from point of sale. We also have our photo features available here and within each point. The Photos button is your gallery. The Camera button is your camera. When taking pictures with the tablet, you would simply point the camera at whatever you want to take a picture of and hit the button. At this point, you can decide whether the picture is good enough and shows what you need it to. If it is, you hit OK. If not, you hit Retry and take another picture. When choosing a tablet, we recommend getting a tablet that includes a flash for at least one of the cameras so that you can get as much detail in your pictures as possible. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then it brings up the gallery where you can edit photos. There's not really a whole lot of actual editing that can be done to the photo, but you can add notes. if you select the note box, the on-screen keyboard pops up where you can type in your notes. The other option would be to use the talk to text feature by hitting the microphone that's to the left of the space bar. Once this pops up, you can talk and it will transfer your speech to a text note. Hit the green button to pause the recording, and you'll see that the words that I spoke are now written in the note box. We'll go ahead and we'll close that. You'll also notice underneath notes there's a designation for point. Right now, because I took this photo from the home page, it doesn't have any designation. But when photos are taken within specific points in the inspection, that designation, the section that the photo was taken, will appear in that box. You can also manually choose to assign a photo to a particular point. And the reason for this is when you print out the inspection, the photos will show up in the corresponding sections on the printout. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And now we will move on to the inspection itself. Each of these is a point that needs to be completed. You'll notice here for tire inspection we have the symbol to the right. That is the skip button. Entire sections of an inspection can be designated as skippable. And when setting that up, you can set up a single default reason for why it was skipped, or you can set up multiple choices for why something was skipped, including a text box. So if the not inspected is not the reason that it was skipped, the technician can designate why they skipped it. And that will then be shown here on the caption, the reason why it wasn't inspected or why it was skipped. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to go into the first point, which only has one of three done. That's the vehicle information. You'll see some of this information was transferred from Stocktrac. The plate was not. So we will fill that in. If you are using the Carfax integration, that feature can be used from within the digital inspection. Obviously, that's not a real license plate number, so I can't demonstrate it. We will also add the odometer. And you'll notice there are other pieces of information that can be filled in. When you're creating the digital inspections, you can designate any of these as being required. Then it would show up down here, as maybe 404 or 505 when that information has been filled in. But you'll see it's 3 of 3. We've finished this section, so we can move on. We can either hit the button that will directly take us to the next section, or we can hit the done button, which will take us back to the home area, and then we can choose where we want to move from there. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button. And now we get into the meat of the inspection. Each of these is called a detail. There are multiple ways of setting those up when creating digital inspections. You can do simple choices, and you can designate kind of an icon response for the choice that is made. It gives you kind of a visual representation of the answer to that particular inspection green check mark meaning everything's good, yellow triangle meaning, something might need to be looked at, red stop sign meaning that something definitely needs to be repaired. You can also do what we call okay, not okay. Okay being, a simple check, yes, everything's good. Not okay, bringing up additional choices, so you can designate what is not okay. In this instance, wipers, you can choose which particular wiper is not okay. You also, over here, have a section for notes. If you open that up, you can put in a note. And any of these note sections can be filled in using the Talk to Text feature. Once a choice is made under not okay, when you go back out, what you chose will show up here as the caption. You can also do multiple choice, which can also open up additional choices. So if I were to hit suggested, it will then bring up a list of reasons why that is suggested, again with places for notes. The same can be done for required. When chosen, an additional set of choices comes up saying why it's required. You can also designate details as skippable with a choice, multiple choice as to why it was skipped, or with a single default reason. And again, with an okay, not okay. For the not okay, you can bring up additional choices as to what is not okay. And now you'll see we've finished the top. At the bottom it says 7 of 7 complete, so we're ready to move on to the next section. So for this section, it's an illustration of how the digital inspection can handle numbers. We have simple number entry boxes. You can do choices for different ranges, and the different ranges can give the designation as to whether it's okay, suggested, required. Again, you can do simple number entry. You can also do a manual number entry with a gradient. So the number that's entered, based on the number that's entered, the icon may change, letting you know something's good, something is suggested, or something is required. You can also do a numeric drop-down. So the technicians can choose from the drop-down menu. And again, you can set this up with a gradient as to what is good, what is suggested, or what is required. And now we've filled it in. At the bottom it says 6 of 6 completed. So we are done. We also have, in each point, we have a section for tech notes that go along with that point. If there isn't something that, if a particular detail does not have its own note entry, you can enter notes for that section here. Each point in an inspection will automatically have that section. But since we're finished with this one, we're going to go ahead and hit done. And now you'll see over here on the left, each of these points is completed. and the transfer button in the upper left-hand corner lights up. So we can go ahead and we can hit that, and that will transfer it back to point of sale. And now in point of sale, you'll notice the inspection log button is flashing yellow. If we click on that, it will open up the log. So without being inside any specific estimate, you can see the status of all of the assigned inspections. And when you open up the log, you can see not only the estimate, you can see the vehicle that was inspected, the type of inspection, and the status of that inspection. From here, you can view the inspection. You can also print it, or you can go to that estimate, which is what we'll do. Now you'll notice, now that we're back into the estimate, the license plate and the odometer has been filled in, transferred from the inspection tablet. And if we go over here to the digital inspection, it shows you the inspection that was done, what was found, the technician that did it, and the device that it was on if you have multiple tablets. And from here, you can print out the inspection, which prints out with your logo, your shop information, and then all of the customer information, customer and vehicle information. It shows you the notes. It shows you, for additional choices, it shows you those. See, this was the wipers, not okay, and we chose the right one, so that prints out. It also shows you which ones were skipped and the reason for that. It shows you the picture with the notes, as well as placing the picture in the section that it was taken or designated. And then here's your tire inspection section. Shows you all of that. So that can be printed out, and a hard copy can be kept with their estimate. It can also be handed to the customer. You can also hit the edit button, and that will take you into the inspection where you can go through and not only view what was found, but you can actually make changes if necessary. So if you need to, you can add additional notes. You can view the photos that were taken, as well as notes that were added to those. You can view notes that were sent from point of sale and any specific section notes that may have been added. And if you were to make changes and hit OK, it would actually save those changes to the inspection. Another feature from editing the inspection is it gives you the option to actually email the inspection and the photos to the customer. So then they can have a digital copy of that for their own records, or they can view it on their phone or from their computer, see the photos that were taken, and get a really good idea of what the technicians found on their vehicle. Well, that concludes this Stocktrac University video. If you find it helpful, give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe, then hit the bell and choose all to get notified when we post new videos. Finally, if you have a topic that you'd like to see us cover in future videos, leave your suggestions in the comments. And as always, thank you for choosing Stocktrac.